Hi Booktube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and today I have another summer wrap-up video for you. This will be the YA and middle grade books that I read in July and August. In my June wrap-up video, I mentioned that I was listening to The Red Pyramid on audio. Now, I have the physical copy, as you can see, which I believe that I'm going to go back and read the physical copy because I don't think I did the book justice on audio. I had it on Playaway, and I found myself missing parts of it because I was trying to multitask and do some other things. So I'm not really going to talk about this right now because I need to reread it before I really make a good judgment call. So far, from what I recall of it, it was very enjoyable. It's about Egyptian gods and goddesses and the descendants of the Egyptian gods and goddesses. I also read the second and third books in the Matched trilogy. I read Matched earlier in the year, probably around May, and I really enjoyed it. And I really thoroughly enjoyed Crossed and Reached as well. They're written by Condie. I've heard some other mixed reviews for these books, but to me, a good book, in my opinion, is a book that keeps me engrossed in the story, keeps me interested. It's one that I want to keep coming back to and finish it and see what happens. I had that in these books. I totally did. I didn't have a problem with the writing style. I also just really enjoyed the storyline. One thing I did enjoy in particular about the third book is that since it's written from 3 different perspectives, at the top of each page over here on the right hand side, it tells you which character that is talking right now. So you don't have to keep going back. If you forget who's talking, you don't have to go back to the beginning of the chapter to see who it is. And I love that because I've read books before that are even just from 2 perspectives, and they sound so much alike that I forget, and I have to go back and flip back and remember who is talking. These books have been talked about all over BookTube, so I'm not really going to go into them in much detail, but I really did think they were good books, and and they're clean books. So if you're looking for something good for younger readers, there's no bad language or explicit sex scenes or anything like that in these books, and I think that they are a definite safe read for your younger readers who want bigger books to read. Now, one of the books I read, one of the books that I finished up for TBR Takedown 2.0 was Sideways Stories from Wayside School, and I don't have that book here today, but this is the sequel, which I do own. This is Wayside School is Falling Down, and I will be reading it. But the Sideways Stories from Wayside School is just a fun, off-the-wall set of short stories written by Sachar, who's also the author of Holes, about this one particular class, which is on the top floor of Wayside School, which is a school that was built on its side. And they're just fun. They're completely off the wall and just unexpected and hilarious. There are just a lot of fun, crazy things that happen to the students from Wayside School. So I thought it was very entertaining. This is one of the sequels. I'm looking forward to reading this, and I just thought that it was a very entertaining book and very easy to read too. It looks like this one is more of a chapter book. In the first book, each chapter is about a particular student or character in Wayside School. For Booktubeathon, I read The One and Only Ivan by Katherine Applegate. This is a beautiful story. It's a Newbery winner from a couple years ago, and it's just really, really a wonderful story. So it is based on a true story about a real gorilla named Ivan who was raised in captivity. But what happens in this book and what happened in real life are different. This is written more from a fantasy perspective of that, in which Ivan can talk and communicate with the other animals, and the actual circumstances are different than in real life. But this is a very entertaining story. It's a beautiful story, and I definitely recommend it for all readers. It looks like it's a really thick book, but there's not a lot of words on each page. So I read it in one afternoon, and it's just a really, really good story. I can't say enough good things about it. While I'm on this genre, since I wasn't booktubing early in the year, I pulled out a couple of books that I wanted to show you that are also middle grade books that I thought were especially good, and I have one of them checked out from the library because it's one of the books I read for the Ultimate Reading Challenge, and this is Charlie Joe Jackson's Guide to Not Reading by Tommy Greenwald. This is a hilarious book. For the Ultimate Reading Challenge, I counted this as my funny book. I absolutely thought it was fabulous, and I plan to read the other Charlie Joe Jackson books. I would definitely recommend it. This boy, Charlie Joe, goes through so much work to not read, and as a book lover, I just found it very entertaining and very fun, and just a very unique book. It's very quick to read as well because there are a lot of blank spaces in the book, and some illustrations, so it's a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend it. Another middle grade book I'd like to talk about is Schooled by Gordon Korman. I've read a couple of other Gordon Korman books. I know he wrote at least one of the 39 Clues books, and there are a couple of his other books that I do plan to read, but this one I read earlier in the year. It is about Capricorn Anderson, otherwise known as Cap, and he has grown up on a rundown commune with only his grandmother. The commune had seen better days, and all the people had moved away except for him and his grandmother, and he's been homeschooled. And we come to find out that his grandmother has really been teaching him some very good life principles, because when she is injured and has to go into rehab, Cap has to go and live with a foster family and go to regular middle school. Thankfully, his foster mom grew up partially on the same commune and had lived there until she was a teenager. So she was very familiar with the kind of life that Cap had had leading up to this point, and she does her best to try to help him fit into regular school. But really, Cap is so naive but yet so good-hearted that he somehow manages to come out unscathed and turns into the hero. So, I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but this is just really, really a fabulous book. I loved it. I don't remember if I gave it 5 stars. If I didn't, I'm going to go back and give it 5 stars because I thought it was an excellent book, a lot of fun to read, very easy reading, not very long, and I would definitely recommend this book. So that's it for the middle grade books and the YA books that I read over the summer, with the exception of the Sunshine State Young Reader nominees for the 2015-2016 school year. There are 15 of those books, and I have already read 6 of them, and those are middle grade books. I started them just a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to be reading all 15 of those, but I'm going to put those in a different video. I will be back with another video with some of the other genres that I read over the summer very shortly. Have a great day, read a good book, and God bless you.